Welcome back to another episode of Brunch and Banter with your host Aris and my co-host Adilene and Giselle. Today,
Hello.
you guys can say hello.
Yeah, say hi to.
Hi.
Okay, today we will be talking about our work life, adulting, balance. Okay, first I kind of wanted to see like what were your guys' first jobs? What did you learn throughout like working as I don't know how old you guys were when you guys first started working, but working at that age up until like now and in your 30s pretty much. Any like balances, struggles and stuff like that. Nina, you want to go first?
I got my first job. I think I was 19
Mhm.
or 18, turning 19. But I got hired on my birthday.
Ooh.
I went in for an interview on my birthday, and he pretty much hired me on the spot.
Which is very rare, by the way.
I
Yeah, that
know.
was kind of weird. Because I didn't know, that that's how it worked, or that's how it could work. I expected them to just like send me home and then maybe call me like, I don't know, 2 days later or something.
Mhm.
My first job was at a pet shop, and it was called Animal Kingdom. It does not exist anymore because of some laws that were passed in California, but I think it was in 2014 when I got hired.
Oh dang.
Yeah, because I turned 19 that year. I really loved my first job. It was really fun because I got to work with a lot of puppies and kittens and bunnies and birds. I didn't care that much about the mice or the cricket or the reptile. The reptiles, I didn't mind. The turtles, they were pretty fun to feed. I never ever ever the whole time working there dealt with any of the spiders. I told them I wouldn't hold any, I wouldn't clean any. I also learned, or I should have learned, that I am deathly allergic to dust because whenever I had to clean the birds, I would literally sneeze so much that like it'd get to the point where my lungs would hurt from all the sneezing. Um, my boss was very nice. We would call him Mr. Clean
It's the
because he
bald
was
guy,
bald.
right? I do
Yeah,
remember him. Yeah.
because he was bald, but they were really nice. The only thing was that like they had a lot of cameras set up at our location, and they would literally stalk the cameras and be like, "Why are you still standing in the same spot for like a minute?"
Damn.
or something like that. Or like I remember when I first got hired, so I could keep track of time because like I had no watch, no nothing. I would carry my phone in my pocket and like check time occasionally just to make sure I would take my lunch on time or like my breaks on time.
Hmm.
And then like maybe I don't know, like a few days later, the boss comes and he's like, you guys aren't supposed to have your personal phones on you. And it's like, even though he was talking to everyone, I knew he was talking to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that because I felt like he assumed that I wasn't working or I was, taking personal time for myself while on the job when I wasn't. I was just making sure that it was the right time. Other than that, I think working there was really fun. It taught me a lot about, customer service and how, you can't please everyone and that people will judge you for the place that you work in. I learned that you should never bend over backwards for a job where you are
Hmm.
replaceable and easily replaceable. I really did enjoy that as my first job ever, especially like, fresh out of high school and your, late teens, entering your 20s. I think I worked there for like 4 years. It was a very nice company to work for. As far as closer to my 30s, I worked at Home Goods for almost a year. I think I got hired in 2021, 22,
Hmm.
21. I don't really remember. No, I think it was 2022 because I don't even know how long I was working there before I told them that I was pregnant. So like, that's not like I had a choice, but I did leave because, I was gonna have a baby. And working there, I learned that there are companies that can care for you more. Like they provided a lot of lunches for us, a lot of snacks, and that my old job never really provided for. That they said they used to in the past, that they would like have like snacks for you, but the employees would always take everything,
hmm
which kind of doesn't make sense because don't you want them to take things?
Yeah. So you felt more
But
appreciated in your
yeah,
other job.
I know. So Home Goods has, I know they had a lot of benefits. Like if you have kids, they had this like daycare discount you could get.
Dang.
Um, they provided a lot of breakfast and lunches for us. The only sad thing about working there is that you could only be full time if you were like a lead.
Okay.
So like if you were like the lead for sales or the lead for stock, those were the only people who had full time hours. Other than that, everyone else had to be part time. So I had to be part time,
Okay.
which I didn't mind because I was in the back in the stock room, so I was unboxing all the boxes and putting things on carts so that they can be wheeled out and put away. I really liked my managers there too. They were really nice. It's a pretty nice company to work for. And then leaving was nice too because they threw me uh like a little baby shower before I left.
Oh,
Even
that's
though
so
they
sweet.
like, I mean, I guess yeah, they knew me like almost the whole year, but
But still,
uh
a lot of places don't do that.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, they were really nice. I don't have a job now,
Mm-hmm.
so I am a stay-at-home mom. My job now is to take care of this baby, so I now get paid with love instead of money.
But you want to like homeschool her, huh?
Yeah, I do want to homeschool her, and
Okay.
I eventually kind of want to open a micro bakery, which is like, maybe have like, I don't know, like 10, 20 people that I will like make bread for like maybe once or twice a week.
Okay, so you want to do like a micro, what's micro baking?
A micro bakery is basically like you bake bread from your house
Mm-hmm.
and you can sell it to people like at an event, or
Oh, okay.
they can just do like porch pickup, or you can go deliver.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
Uh-huh.
So that'd be like something that you would want to do like later on when she gets a little bit older.
I might do it this year
Oh, that's pretty cool,
since I
Nina.
pretty much have almost perfected like my perfect sourdough loaf. So
Okay, okay.
yeah.
It's becoming more and more popular, those micro bakeries.
Yeah, I mean, people are really like taking into account that, the food here in America is not that great. They put so many preservatives in
Mm-hmm.
our bread that does
Hmm.
not need to be in there. So it's like bread literally is just water, salt, and flour.
Like
Like
honestly,
that's it.
I think you even noticed like the difference in texture too of different foods. I was telling my mom I was making lasagna the other day, and I was trying to open the package, and I don't know if you guys remember the ground meat, the big tubes when you would squeeze them out, it would just slip right out. And now I feel like it was so hard to get it out of the packaging. Like it felt
Oh,
different. It looked different.
it's probably
Hmm.
lab grown. I'm just kidding.
Probably I'm probably
Ew.
eating some like random meat that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
So like yeah, it's like
Okay,
that,
don't.
like stuff like that. I noticed it's just different too. And I noticed me and my boyfriend like to eat these Takis Fuego chips. And they're really good.
Like the potato one?
Yeah, like the potato ones, the like little like circle well, not circle, but you know what I mean. They're not like regular roll
Yeah.
up Takis. And
Mm.
we got them from Vallarta and they were so good. And then I went to I don't know where and I saw them I think at Walgreens and they were different. They tasted really different. More like
So were they
flaky.
also like the Mexican version? Because I feel like Vallarta sometimes carries the ones from like
Mexico?
straight from
Also
Mexico.
Mexico, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's
They make
why.
them different.
Yeah, I,
And you can tell by the bag because of like it'll have certain labels,
mhm.
and I've noticed that like I don't know,
Like
like
the
what's something
cocas are
that
different too from Vallarta.
yeah, like the Cokes are good. I can taste the difference, but I can also tell when it's straight from Mexico versus the ones here.
I think that's what it was too. I was like, so the ones here don't taste that good, and the ones that were from a more Mexican shop tasted way different and way better. Which is like, that's how you could tell like our food quality here in the U.S. is so different, and I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm a fan of it. Okay,
but
and
also too, like I think there's more restrictions in Mexico as far as like what can go in the food than there is here in the U.S.
yeah, like I think Mexico uses like cane sugar or something like that for like their sweets and their cokes, but
Yeah,
here we use more like a synthetic sugar, right?
we use high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. So it's just better tasting from over there.
I agree.
Consider
Right.
doing the chickens too and like sell eggs with your micro bakery because I feel like a lot of people
Yeah,
that's how they start. They do sourdough and then like they before they know it they have their own little stand with like eggs and like they start doing cookies and even like duck eggs I've seen.
I don't know about duck eggs, but uh, even like just because of the egg prices are crazy right now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We do get our eggs from a lady like a couple blocks down, and I think she sells them for like $6 for 18.
Oh, it's not bad.
Or
That.
yeah, but because we buy in bulk, I think we probably get a discount. Because
Yeah.
there's times where like she'll go pick up like 7 18 counts and she won't pay much. And plus like the yolks are like so much better. They're like literally like golden, like a sunset golden color. They're so pretty. And then the eggs from the store are just like a regular yellow.
I'm telling you,
It's
these
crazy.
stores, stuff that they're selling us these days is just like not it.
Yeah, I'll probably get to the point where like I have my own garden and start selling my surplus of vegetables and fruit.
That's definitely something I want to do
Mhm.
too, like have my own garden where I have my vegetables and like fruit, and that way we don't have to buy from a big consumer
Yeah,
store. That's what we're gonna
I
go back to.
agree.
Watch, we're gonna go back to the old days where people would just grow their own shit and then trade back
We're
and
Like a
gonna
forth.
go be
homestead.
hunters and gatherers.
Yes, I'm down. Francisco, go get us some meat. Me and Nana are gonna grow our veggies.
Yeah, go hunt down a what do
A
you
bear. I don't know.
go hunt down a
A
cow.
bear.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out freaking animals. What about you, Chel? How was your experience working, and what do you think you took from it up until now?
I started working in retail at Macy's, and it was nice. The employee discount was definitely nice. And the job itself wasn't bad, but I was also in college during the time, so I felt like it was very flexible and a good job to have during that time. Um, but it just sucked because I would have to work like weekends and holidays, and that was also back when Black Friday, I felt like started moving up.
To Black Thursday.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
So I remember there was one time where like our family does Thanksgiving kind of late, like at 5, but then I had to go in by I can't remember, like 6 or 7 because stores were opening at 8 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day. So in a way, I was like, well, that kind of like just ruins everything. Like, why can't you go back to like midnight or 4 in the morning? Like, I felt like it started to take away from that family like gathering and the holiday. It was more like a consumer holiday. I don't know. But then I feel like as times changed, everything started becoming online. So Black Friday didn't really like it wasn't a thing anymore because you could just do it online. And a lot of places would start their Black Friday sales earlier. But I got out of Macy's before all of that happened. But that was one of the downfalls that I didn't like. But good thing that once I graduated, I left. Because then I went into like the corporate world. And I started working an office job. It's not bad, but it is more like desk based. You're at a desk a lot and
I
you're
feel
just
like
working.
too, an office job would be less. flexible.
Yes and no, because I know during COVID, like I was working from home, so it was very like flexible in that aspect.
Yeah.
And even now, like if I need to work from home, I can. But it was good and bad for like my health. Like I liked being at an office, even though you did interact with like coworkers and you emailed them and stuff like that. You also had like your cute little office and all that. But I liked Macy's because I was always walking around.
Oh, okay,
So I
yeah.
like stayed like active because it wasn't like I wasn't in one place for a while.
Right.
So it kept me active because I remember like I had you know how your phone tracks your steps?
Yeah.
I mean, I would always be walking, taking stuff to other departments that didn't belong wherever I was, and it was a lot of customer service. So if you were having a bad day, like you couldn't let that reflect.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like in your office, like if you're just having a bad day, or when I was pregnant, I just wasn't feeling it. Like I could just kind of hide in my office, still do my work, like not have to worry so much about like customer service. Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course, my coworkers knew I was pregnant at the time, so they were just kind of like they just were more understanding. Whereas Macy's, like it's a customer, they just want to check out and make sure the coupons work. Like
Yeah.
they didn't really like care. So I felt like at the time when I was working for Macy's, it was like a good job to have for where I was at in life, and an office job now is just better for where I'm at in life.
I
They
think
both have their pros and cons. Like
yes.
I definitely am not for working more than I need to, especially now that I have a baby. And I definitely don't want to work weekends. So just like the jobs that I've been in that period of my life have just always worked for the better. And obviously, I've been promoted and have switched jobs throughout. But I don't know if I would ever go back to customer service though. I don't think I ever would.
I
Like it was
feel
just
like
it was a phase I learned, and I took advantage of the employee discounts, and it
Per-
was good for it was good for the time being, but I don't
yeah.
think I could ever see myself going back even for like a part-time, or like
I
I
wouldn't
feel
either, Chad.
though
I wouldn't go back. I feel like it's a lot of stress. I feel
it is.
for a consumer based job like that.
and people
Where
are just mean sometimes, like, and I
yes.
Yeah,
know
they
they're not
are.
necessarily mad at you, they're mad at like the company and their
Mm-hmm.
policy
But they
and
take
why,
it
like,
out on you.
Oh
right. And I'm just
yeah.
like, if they catch me on a bad day, I'm like, listen, I'm not having it. Like, do you want the shirt or not? Like, this is the way it's going to work. And then they're like, oh, let me talk to your manager. So then you have to get the manager. And it just, especially like on a busy weekend and right before the holidays, it would just prolong everything.
And people are like on
Um,
their worst mood sometimes, and they're like they think that they're always right. The customer's always right thing. I'm just like, but you're not always right.
I know, but I feel like managers too, because it was so busy, especially during holidays, that they would just give them their way just to keep things moving, which I
Uh-huh.
understand. But I feel like it was always like those repetitive customers that knew they were going to get their way, so they just played it until they got what they wanted.
Yeah.
But then
I
you
think
also have
I
those like super nice customers that would come back time after
Yeah.
time because they were just shopaholics, right? And they were always going after the good deals.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever go back. I don't think it's like you
I
live
think
and you learn, and it was a good experience, but that's as far as I get for customer service.
I think everyone needs to work customer service once in their life.
Especially those that
That
are
or
like
fast
very
food,
mean
like
to customer
yeah.
service
It teaches
employees.
them a lot.
Yes, it does. I think that's why like whenever I go anywhere out to eat, I always try to be like the nicest person to the freaking waiters and stuff because
But
I
that's
know they
understandable
have
if
to
they're
make a
Yeah.
long
busy.
day, you know.
Yeah.
And
Because,
I
like,
mean,
when I was working at my retail job, like, I can't tell you how many times people would call me, like, a murderer because we worked at a pet shop.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, well, I'm sorry, ma'am. This is how I make my money. So,
Huh.
just look at the pets and walk away.
yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
Like, if she didn't agree with, the way they were doing things, I don't understand why she bothered to walk into the store.
But there's
Yeah,
people like that make it a point to like go and let their voice be heard,
and they're not
and
happy with their
you just
life.
happen to be working that day.
Yeah, I
And
just happened to ask her if everything was all right, and she goes, "You are a dog murderer." And I said, "I don't buy the dogs. I just work here."
I've had something similar
So,
happen I don't know if you guys remember when I used to work at Payless. There was a
oh yeah.
lady. I swear. Okay, so the location of the Payless was more like Mexican based. So a lot of times we were speaking Spanish. So I asked the lady, I'm like, oh, está contando todo bien or something like that. And the lady was like, we're in America. We speak English. And I was just like, ma'am, America doesn't have a language. But it just pissed me off because I was like, well, I'm sorry that I'm sorry I assumed you were Mexican, but you also don't need to come at me with that attitude.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's everywhere because there was, when was it? 2 years ago, we were in Mexico visiting and we were talking in English and we had somebody that was an older Hispanic male that said the same thing. He's like, we're in Mexico, we speak Spanish. And I'm like, oh, so it happens everywhere.
Yes, I guess it
Yeah,
happens
it
everywhere.
really does.
But it's just like it's sad that people are not open to, diversity in a way.
Yeah.
Also, like, you have to realize most of the population in California, and especially southern or like central, like they're mostly Hispanic people.
Yeah, they are because it's
And
really
in
close to the border.
Mexico, yeah. So it's like kind of, expected that, you'll have a lot of Spanish speakers, or in Mexico too, like all the tourists,
Mhm.
even in Mexico, I think they learn some English just for the touristy people.
Yeah. But I've also heard like if you're traveling, which I mean say like you're from, I don't know, you're traveling to Japan or something. You should always try to learn their language too to show respect so that you're not assuming that they're going to speak English for you, you know?
Oh yeah, like I would totally learn, how to say like thank you, please, some simple phrases, but they can't expect you to know how to have a whole conversation.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
for me, my first job, I think my very first job was when I was in high school. I worked at the cafeteria there.
I
And
forgot you did that.
yeah, that was such a long time ago. Everybody was hella chill though. I liked it. But I mean, it was also
Wait, I did that too. How did I forget about that?
I don't know. How did you
You did
forget?
that too?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember like when I first started working there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make money, you know? And then I was like, damn, they take out that. It's like, what was it? I think what was the minimum wage back then? It was like $8 or something.
Yeah, it was something like,
I was like,
yeah.
Uh-huh.
dang, at $8 an hour, and I was over here working. I'm like, that's crazy. But like from there, I think I went to the car wash, and then to Payless, and then I think to my job, something like that. And they've always been very like consumer based, where I was like customer service and stuff like that. So I feel like what I learned through that is a lot of patience for people. Like you have to be patient because people sometimes are not in the best of moods. And then other than that, I mean it's an alright type of job. I wouldn't want to go back to it though.
Oh yeah. Not now.
No, I like being able to come into an office and like do my job and stuff. But though I think
Yeah.
for me the biggest con of working in an office, I think is like you were saying, Chad, how working a customer based job, you're up on your feet, you're walking, you're doing this, staying active, and working at a desk, you're sitting down all day. And
Mm-hmm.
I've never had such bad back pain up until I started working at my desk job, and my vision too. My vision went bad within the first year.
Oh, from the computers.
Yeah. So like stuff like
Like stuff
that,
like,
I didn't enjoy.
I know they're trying to make it a little more like friendly where they like have the stand-up desks and they encourage you to like take your breaks and stuff like that. But I feel
Yeah.
like they also expect you to get things done on time, and then when you're trying to do all that, it just doesn't work.
Honestly, I know I shouldn't admit this on air, but I am. Half the time I will not take a break because I want to get my shit done. But I mean, right now I've been taking my breaks because it's been kind of slow, so I have time to take my break. And
But I feel
then
like a lot of people
Mhm.
don't take, like, you're allowed to take them,
Yeah.
but I feel like a lot of people don't. Like, they'll take like their lunches, but they don't take necessarily like their break.
Oh yeah. I know a lot of the girls in the office do the same thing. They hardly ever take their breaks. It's just like I understand like you have to take a break, like it's 10 minutes, but I'd rather be working in those 10 minutes. I'd rather be getting my job done, you know? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm getting paid for the time anyway. What if I decide to spend my break working? Which is not how it works, but
Do you guys remember when everyone was doing the walking pad under the stand-up desk?
oh yeah.
Yeah, during COVID, that was a thing.
I thought
Yeah.
about it, but I feel like I would lose my balance and I would eat shit.
I feel
Yeah, I feel
that
like that
too.
could be a safety hazard for sure.
Yes, it is. I think it is a very big safety hazard. Have you guys?
Yeah, because even on a
Sorry.
regular treadmill, I lose my balance like
Me
so easily.
too. I have to hold the
I lose
sides.
my balance on the ground.
I lose my
I
balance
don't need
just
to test.
walking.
I don't need to test it.
I freaking trip over air all the time.
Yeah.
You know what? And Daniel makes fun of me all the time. For some reason, when I'm wearing my Nike shoes and I'm going down the driveway and it's misty or it's been raining, I always lose my balance. And I want to say it has to do.
The grip.
I think so, but then Daniel's just fine.
That's weird.
I
I
was gonna
So I'm
wonder
say
always
if
like,
it's
I
just.
walk on the grass when I go down.
because it adds
Oh
traction.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it
especially
is the
like
grip.
last week that it was raining and stuff.
Yeah.
But I lose my balance like normally.
But
Like, why would I
also,
test it with one of those walking
You
pads?
know what?
your
I
guys,
always feel like I'm gonna lose my balance outside your house too, Chen.
yeah,
Your
your
driveway.
driveway is deep.
Yeah. I think it's your
You
driveway.
see, and it's not as steep as my parents.
But your parents is
Oh, it's
concrete.
not.
You know
Yeah.
what? We did
So
add the gloss though
Yeah, I think
on
it's the
ours.
gloss. It always
Oh,
scares me. I feel like I'm gonna eat shit.
oh, I have. And I get more nervous like when I'm carrying the baby.
Oh
oh
So
yeah.
I like walk
yes.
on the grass, or like when I wear high heels or like chunky
Oh yeah.
heels. I'm always
Uh-huh.
like nervous about it. So you see, like doing a walking pad while working and I'm concentrating on whatever I'm doing, like it would, like I would just like stop walking or like
Honestly
I don't know,
though,
like it just won't work.
it's not very what how do you say? It doesn't work. I think because if you're trying to type and you're walking, your body's kind of jumping up and down from the walking, so it's kind of hard to type, you know? So
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
see the
I would have to be
benefits.
walking like very slow.
Yeah. So I don't think it would work for that, especially if you're trying to like do stuff on your computer. I could probably read and walk, but not work and walk.
I used to just watch movies and walk.
See, that's not too bad. That one's easy.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Okay, has ever had like office drama?
Oh my gosh, all the
Or work
freaking
drama?
time. Well, I mean, not the office, but like at my pet shop job,
Hmm.
there was always so much drama with like all the girls.
Oh my god,
Like, I
yes.
can't remember half the stuff, but one of the big things was like because basically we would get commission
Yeah.
for selling like a dog or a cat, and I think possibly a rabbit. You wouldn't get much. You'd probably get like $10. But
Mm.
girls would they would like a customer would walk in and they want to look at a dog or whatever. So they would like race to get there first.
Oh my
And then
god.
if the person like seemed like they were interested but they were gonna think about it, uh the girl who normal because it was mostly girls who worked there. Like a girl who talked to them first would like try to keep a lookout for them. But sometimes like let's say I showed them the dog, but then I had to go on my lunch. But then the people came back during my lunch to buy the dog, so obviously someone else is gonna sell it to them. Like some girls would get all bothered and saying like, "Oh, that's my sale, that's my sale," and there was one girl who really, really did not like her sales to be stolen, so she would like basically go interfere and be like, "I got it, I showed them the dog, I'll sell it to them." And like I never had an issue. I was like, "Yeah, that's fine, go for it. I'm not gonna steal your sale, even though
Oh my
you
god.
technically weren't here." But like that was probably the biggest drama working there. I never really cared. Like I was like, "Go for it, take it." I'm like, I don't want to sell the dog because you have to explain like all the warranty stuff to them. That's probably happened like maybe like once a week.
Dang.
Like not that often, but it happened pretty often. And then at Home Goods, we didn't have that much drama. The only thing that happened there that probably annoyed me was with like one girl specifically. Her name was Lizette,
Mhm.
and it was the first day that we opened, and so we were working cashier together. Like she'd ring people up and I was putting things away, like I was the bagger.
Yeah.
And so I had never met her before, like that was my first time meeting her, and I was like, "Are you a Lizzie?" And she's like, "Don't call me that, don't ever call me that, just call me Lizette." And I was like, "Okay."
Rude.
Like, geez, okay.
People get so
And
butthurt sometimes.
I know, but after that, that's when I got moved to the back because I told them like I did not want to deal with like customer service if I was gonna be like partnered up with her.
Mhm.
So they moved me to the back, and I think it was like during our break, me and like one of the coworkers there that I was friends with, where when I was pregnant, we were talking about like baby shower stuff, and she was like, "Oh, what are you guys talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing. We were just, talking about baby shower stuff." And she's like, "Oh, one of you is pregnant?" And me and my friend just looked at each other, and I was like, "Yeah, I guess I am." And then she went and started uh everyone that was working at the front. And I was like, "Okay, first of all, that's not your business to tell."
My God.
Like, I know. I was like, "What the heck?" Because I hadn't even told my like managers yet.
Mhm.
And so I feel like, people who just like go spreading your own business that they have no business spreading, that's what irks me the most.
Yeah, that she had no right. That wasn't her information to talk about.
Yeah. But that's probably like the most drama that we had at both jobs, or I
Okay.
had.
How about
What
you,
about,
Shelly? Have you ever had
yeah,
office
what about
drama
you,
or work
Giselle?
drama?
I feel like there's work drama everywhere you go.
Mhm.
Like, you
Uh-huh.
may not be a part of it, but there's always work drama.
Especially with girls.
Can't think of anything specific, but I'm sure there is. I just feel like there's just so many different personalities and people just work differently, like you said, like the way she is, and even just different attitudes and vibes that there's bound to be people that
Disagreements
don't
and
like
stuff.
each other. Yeah, or like, you don't like the way she did something or he did something or the way they responded or maybe just age differences, just work ethic. I feel like there's always something going on, um, which could be good and bad. I mean, it keeps it entertaining, like if you're bored.
Oh
But at the same
yeah.
time, like I feel like there's times where you're just like, again, like this, like why can't we move past it? Or, why can't you just get your job done and keep going?
Yes, I feel that freaking when I used to work in I feel like it was more of a toxic environment sometimes where like girls gang up and they like if one person doesn't like somebody, they all will not like that person. And it just kind of like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
isolation.
just doing too much though. It's like
Yes.
Yeah, that it was
that's
like
literally
that in
bullying.
one of my jobs.
Yeah, I think that we had that at my work for a while. That group of girls ended up leaving at the same exact time too. They all got different
I just
jobs somewhere
don't
else.
understand like why you can't just like have your own opinion of the person, or just like don't even have an opinion. You're coworkers, you're here to work. That's it.
Yeah, I think after that moment, one of the girls that was like in that little posse gang was at one point my friend, and then after she did that, I was just kind of like, you know what? I come to work now. I don't come to work to make friends. Like it's too much.
Oh
But I
yeah.
feel like a lot of times you develop those relationships just because you're there, sometimes
Uh,
even longer than you are at home. So you become
yeah.
friends and you get to know people on like a deeper level, like personal level, like like, oh, we're going to Disneyland this weekend, or so and so's
Yeah,
having a birthday party for the kids. So you learn things about people, but sometimes I'm just like, I regret knowing you.
but then like I understand that, and I feel like I think for me, um I could do like work addies and then friend addies. So it's like almost two different people, but not really, you know. But when I'm at work, I'm working. We're not like buddies when I'm at work, you know.
Right.
And then like some people can't do that. So when you're working with them and they try to like be your friend and like not like take advantage, but I guess
I
in a way
could
take
think I know what
advantage, you know
you
what I mean?
mean, because like you can be really good friends with one of your coworkers, and then you almost feel like you have to treat them different because you're on
Yes.
such a good basis. Like it felt like that. Like
Uh,
whenever they made me lead at one point, like I felt so weird bossing around my coworkers when like we were really good friends and I wasn't a lead. Like, it was so weird at first. I was like, well, I don't want to tell you, hey, go clean this because it needs to be cleaned. Like, I'd rather do it myself, but I can't do it myself because I'm supposed to be watching out for all of you.
Yeah. So I think like when you're in a position where you're a little bit higher than somebody else, it makes it like an awkward position because then they go off of the fact that they're your friend and they try to be like, well, you're my friend, so you could help me with this, you know? And you're
Yeah,
like, but we're working, we're not friends right now.
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think,
it does make that part complicated.
yeah. Like for example, like I think when those girls were my friends at one point, I in my position I have to review their payroll, and if something's not right and they have to redo checks, they have to go tell the manager like, hey, I'm gonna redo these checks because of so and so reason, and a little bit later on I'll just message my manager and be like, because my manager asked me, can you please let me know when people have to redo checks. So I went ahead and I would message my manager, hey, so and so needs to redo their checks because of this reason. And they didn't like that. They felt like I was snitching on them. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not snitching. I'm literally doing my job. And I think that's where that kind of started. So it's just kind of like my position created in their head this animosity, you know?
Oh, like, yeah, like you betrayed them in some way.
Yeah. And it's like, well,
Yeah,
I'm not going to put you over my job because at the end of the day,
right.
you're not paying my bills, you know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you put it that way.
And then I was gonna ask you guys, like, is there anything that you wish you would have known sooner about like life or finances and stuff like that?
Being an adult is hard.
Yes, it
It's
is.
not hard, it's just there's a lot.
Going on.
Yeah, like you're responsible for everything and anything you do. You know,
Yes.
like mom and dad aren't doing it, which is nice because I mean, you're your own boss, right?
Yeah.
But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like either have those bills on auto pay or remember to pay them.
For real, because I see auto pay is like my best friend. I put everything on auto pay. I don't have to worry about it. You know, like it's just simple. Where I don't know
Uh-huh.
how people who don't have auto pay, I don't know how they do it because I would forget to pay. But
I would
yeah,
just put a reminder in my phone if there's something that I can't figure out how to put on auto pay, or like if I can't put it on auto pay, I just put a alarm reminder.
yeah, that works. But then you have to like, what if you're like doing something when the reminder goes off and you're like, okay, okay, I'm gonna do it later, and then you just forget.
Well, if I forget, then that is my own problem that I have to deal with.
See, I wish they would have taught you more about like saving for your future because I feel like I didn't.
Like life skills.
No, like for your retirement and stuff. Like I feel like that's not something you really talked about, and I feel like that's something that should be talked about, like a financial class, you know, that you take in high school.
Oh yeah,
I think that
absolutely.
should be something you should take in high school,
I think I took a
like a
marriage
require.
and family class,
Mhm.
and they taught taxes for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, like they should teach us how to do our taxes, like just like stuff like that, like financial wise, like these are things that you should do or these are things that you shouldn't do. Be careful when you do this, you know? That's what I think, that they should have a financial class that is like a financial advisor kind of class where it's recommended for you. I'm not recommended, sorry, required for you to take it.
I feel like when you get your first job, that also teaches you the importance of, how do you say it?
Like
Making your money.
responsibility.
Yeah, like with your money, like, because I remember there was a coffee shop in the mall, because the pet shop was in the mall, and I would go there like almost every day, and I'm like, this is expensive to be
Mm-hmm.
going to get a coffee every single day. So like I'd have to take a lunch, and so it taught me a lot of like financial responsibility, and I learned how to become a really good saver that way.
Yeah, it's much better for your pocket if you make your coffee at home.
But it doesn't taste the
Well,
same.
you just gotta play with the recipe. I've gotten my matcha down pretty good, where I think it tastes almost similar to what Starbucks gives me.
Oh, that's
But I
good.
feel like the fancier you get with your drinks, the more time they require to make. And
Yeah.
in the morning when you're trying to rush out the door, like you don't have the time to make a fancy drink. If
Well,
you're
You
lucky, you
really
get regular
don't.
coffee with creamer.
well, you gotta get the good beans, good coffee beans, because if you just get Folgers, that's never gonna taste as good as Starbucks.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
You gotta call Lily's and be like, "Hey, Lily's, come up, come and give me some coffee beans."
She comes in
Yeah.
clutch every Christmas with that.
Yeah.
Free coffee.
Yeah, I think that's something I like too. I've noticed as I'm growing up that saving money and like doing things that you like going out to eat for instance, it was all right at the beginning. I feel when I was first like working, but now I feel like in the last like 2 years, it's just been getting more and more expensive just to go out to eat. You know,
Yeah.
like right now, I think when I go out to eat with my boyfriend, I feel like it's almost like if we're lucky and we go to a good spot, it can be $45. But if we're going somewhere that's well known, it's like $60, $80, $90.
Yeah, like when I would go out with my friends, I would purposely always ask for a water because they don't charge for that,
Oh yeah,
and then order my food.
yeah. I think that's the same. I always get water because I'm like, I don't know if I want to pay the $10. I'm gonna pay on a actual drink.
You see, and Daniel's a foodie, so he'll order like everything and anything off the menu.
Oh, he's brave.
I don't.
He just doesn't care. He's like, we're out already. We already know we're gonna spend the money, so let's just do it.
Well, I mean, if you do it like once a month, twice a month, it's not too bad. But if it's like at first when I was dating Francisco, we would go out to like 3 or 4 times a week, and finally I cut it back, and I was like, you know what? It's expensive. Let's eat out like once a week maybe, and then make food at home. You know, as much as like going out to eat is fun, I feel like making food at home between both people, I feel like it's a lot more fun too because you get to interact, you get to see how they cook, you get to be more intimate with each other that way.
Yeah. Like for us, I usually like to leave the eating out for the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And then since, we are home all the time, and it's just easier to cook something here than to go get food. Unless it's like a really busy day, then I'll be like, yeah, pick up food.
Have you guys had any like adult fails? I don't know if we kind of talked about that.
Any what?
Adult fails, like I don't know, like forgetting to pay a bill, waking up late.
Not necessarily not
Not
pay a bill, but I think I went like 2 months without checking my mailbox where I got sent back to the post office. I had to go to the post office to pick it up because they wouldn't resume delivery until I went to the post office. And it was
oh
kind of
my
embarrassing
god.
because they gave me a whole box full of mail.
Oh my
It was like a long time.
Oh my god, Ted. But you know what? We're guilty on this side too. I feel like, but you know what? Okay, those postal workers, the USPS, they stuff the hell out of those boxes, and
Yeah.
on their end, they can get it out because it doesn't have like that extra like layer. I don't know if I can describe it because when you open
It's
the
almost
box,
like it has a frame.
yeah, that frame on your end, because on the consumer end, you open it and there's a frame, and then you can't take anything out because it's all stuffed in there. And I'm just like,
Yeah, like
sir.
they have stuffed like a literal box in there before, so you have to like
Open the box.
somehow smush in the edges so that the box will try to come out.
Like we've had to like the packages that they put in there, we've had to literally open them and freaking unpackage it and then take everything out because it was just it just wouldn't come out. Like that's freaking annoying. And it's all because they don't want to go to the house and deliver it probably.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you guys ever had like the UPS drivers not deliver a package because there was an animal outside?
Yeah, that's
Not
happened
for an
once
animal,
before.
but I had one of my packages that I know I checked to see if it like requires signature.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't. So I was like, okay, cool. They'll drop it off. Well, they didn't drop it off because what was it? Oh, it was my iPhone. It was like right when I pre-ordered it. So they were delivering my iPhone and they knew that there were the new iPhones that were getting delivered. Well, even though it said it didn't require a signature, they still didn't leave it and they left me a note. And I was mad because I was going to have to go pick it up. And I was already without a phone for like a week because I just took forever to go get a new one.
Yeah.
But not for an animal. Because even the things that require a signature, I just signed for it online because of the way our house is laid out. Our packages are kind of hidden from the street view.
Mm-hmm.
So we've never had a problem. So every time anything says like, oh, it's going to require a signature, I'll just sign for it online and I just tell them to leave it. And I knew that one was going to be a possible signature because it was an iPhone. So I checked, but it said no, but then they wouldn't deliver it. So I was like, well, what the heck? Like, now I have to go to the hub.
Ugh, that's annoying.
But not for like an animal.
We've had two. We've had one
But
with
you guys,
sorry.
your animals are always inside.
No. It was like somebody else's like cat or dog was outside somewhere by the front yard. And for the safety of the UPS drivers, they are not on they don't deliver. They will just let you
To the
know.
whole street?
I don't know. I wasn't there, but supposedly there was some kind of dog, cat, something. Because I called the UPS number to ask about it. I was like, "Hey, why don't you guys deliver?" I was like, "What the fuck?" So they said that it was because there was like a dog or a cat or some type of animal outside, and for the safety of the UPS driver, they will not deliver the package. They'll just take it back.
Oh, they have
Yeah,
trauma.
yeah. And then I've
Yeah.
also had it.
They had a bad experience somewhere.
I think so. I was just like, what the fuck? I'm like, you guys are afraid of a stupid little cat? It'll run away. I'm like, if it was a
You know
dog, I
what?
Yeah.
understand, but a cat,
But I understand like the dog because even although
yes.
our dog is pretty well trained and he won't
They
like
have a loud
bark at
bark.
anybody, every now and then they just get a bad vibe after someone.
Yeah,
And you never really know. Like they're at the end of the day they are animals.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you never know. But
I just thought it was
I
interesting.
know
I
like
never
when
had it
Daniel's
happen.
outside with Chief, like Chief will listen, and if we tell him to like lay down because we're getting a package or whatever, he will, and he'll stay there. But I noticed with like the FedEx or like anybody, sometimes they're like, "Oh, can I leave it right here?" Or like Daniel will walk up and like grab it if the dog's outside
Yeah,
because they're just. I feel like maybe they've just had
a bad experience.
close calls or bad experiences, or maybe they just don't like animals, which is probably like a
Huh?
bad company to work for because a lot of people have animals, I feel like. So it's something you're going to come across a lot.
Yeah, so it's
But
Yeah.
just an inconvenience for both ends, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're probably like, hey, you don't know. And we did have one person say, like, oh, you don't know how many times people have said, oh, don't worry. And don't worry about my dog. They won't do anything. And then
The
before
dog
you
does
know it,
something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that happened to me before because like the dog here, Maggie, they took her in and she was already like basically a year old, so like we don't know what her temperament was like throughout her first year of life.
Or if they
So,
were abused or something.
yeah, so like she'd, be outside most of the day in the summer and the mailman, we'd know they'd be here because she'd be barking, so we'd have to like go grab her and make sure that she won't attack, which normally she doesn't. Like as soon as she sees one of us out there, she'll just like sit by us and wait for them to leave. And like one of the delivery guys has asked me, he's like, will she bite? And I said, I don't know. I'm like, I honestly don't know. She's never bitten anyone, so I don't know. But she does look scary because I think it's like half pit bull and half Anatolian shepherd or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she looks like a scary dog and she has a scary bark. But we've also had like drivers just throw the package into the grass and leave. I don't blame them.
Hopefully it wasn't anything fragile.
Nothing has been broken yet. So
Yet.
yeah, there's only been like one thing that she like they throw on the ground those like bubble wrap packages,
Mm-hmm.
and she has destroyed one of those, but luckily she didn't destroy what was inside.
Oh, okay.
So
I think the only other
yeah.
instance that I've had that I was kind of like upset about it was because they delivered. They were supposed to deliver. I think they came by like at 7 or 8 ish, and I was out. I was in the living room talking to my mom, and we were literally having a conversation. The guy comes up to the door, drops off. Instead of dropping off the package, he leaves a note saying owner was not home,
What?
and the door is wide open. You could hear us conversating, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Why are you? Why did you drop it off? You could have been like, hey, I have a package, literally, you know?" Yeah, I was just like,
That's ridiculous.
yeah, I was like, "Were you freaking lazy?" And I talked to one of my friends who, well, actually, I think it was your brother, Chet, your brother-in-law, Chet, and he's like, "Oh, it's because there's a lot of like newer people, and they are not like the best workers since they're new for the season." The holiday
Oh,
season.
oh yeah, because they're contracted with like I think their own cars. Because I know during the holidays, I didn't really see like the big trucks. It was a lot of personal vehicles, and they
Mm-hmm.
had like a vest on, so they were like just holiday help.
Oh yeah, they do that here. They call them rural, rural,
Rural
RUAL,
RAL. I hate that word.
whatever. Those are the people that deliver our mail here. The normal like USPS delivery truck doesn't come here.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that was like my only other instance. I was just like okay, that one did get me mad because I was like, we were right here, dude. Like, what
Yeah,
the
that
fuck?
makes me mad too. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast today. Please make sure you subscribe, you leave a comment. What is that? What else is there?
Oh,
Leave a rating.
and join us next Wednesday. Feel free also to share your own personal experiences in the comments. We always appreciate that. And yeah, that was
And
it.
we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.